Architectural Builders Supply is pleased to present you with this recording of the technical question that is listed in the title of this video.
This call may be monitored and recorded for quality assurance.
This is got a little bit more depth to it. You know what I mean?
No, say that again.
Let's say you're going. So the picture in your mind should be like you're in a garage, and the garage is just a cement floor, and you're walking into the house, and the house has tile on it. So you've got maybe a half inch of tile sticking up from that garage floor. So you want to have a threshold between the two, and because it's a garage, that door has to seal so that, smoke and carbon monoxide, all that stuff. So it's got to seal. So there's a PEMCO 2006 and a PEMCO 2007, both Alpha Tango, and those are designed with a square back to basically butt up to that tile and then have the door seal. The problem is the clearance of that rubber gasket where it seals to. It's there's not much, and you've got, when you look at that, at the schematic, at the spec, at the cut sheet, you'll see like, oh, maybe there's like, a half inch, but then it's sucked up by a quarter inch on the other side, so you only have a quarter inch, and the thermoseal is sort of stuck down into a groove, which concerns me more, that it's not, that thermoseal vinyl piece that's gonna touch the bottom of the door doesn't really touch it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm thinking. That 2000. Yeah.
Your undercut needs to be spot on. You can't have, if you have an eighth of an inch undercut, you're approaching too much undercut. Why don't you add on top of your threshold like an 1842 alpha papa kilo and increase that overall height? It would, be atypical, but it could be done. You're just going to add an additional stop strip on top of your, 2001 or 6 or 7.
Mm-hmm.
And your door swings into the space?
Into the garage. It swings out. It's an out swing.
Oh, it swings out. So, okay. Well, I was going to say, you've got a different problem.
No. This is an outswing where when you shut the door, it's going to go over that flat part that's only an eighth of an inch from the ground, and it goes right over that flat part, seals to the door, and then you walk. That the other side is the inside.
So
you think that the 2006 and 2007, either one of those are the proper application in my case?
Well, I can't say that they're proper, but I would say that the 2001 is improper. Because that's not going to transition, unless you're going to take that 2001 and rip that side down so that you can, and then support it underneath.
Right. In other words, the side that starts to like slope. In other words, that slope's going to sit on top of the tile then, right? It doesn't butt it.
That's no good. That's not definitely not what you want.
The 2006 will make a seam. We'll obviously smash it right up to the tile. Maybe with even a Schluter or something, but that's probably the right thing. But the question is there enough clearance from the bottom? Is there not enough clearance? That's the wrong way to put it. Will it seal against the door?
Well, in other words, what's the missing dimension?
Well, there's only a quarter of an inch that is technically. Is that enough?
It's not the threshold's problem. The missing dimension is what is your undercut.
We don't have the door in right now. We can set the door down right to where it needs to be.
So what I would be doing,
we don't have the jam in. We don't have the casing in.
Okay.
It's a European casing, so we can set this thing down so that it hangs right into that dimension. And I've got a 6-way adjustable hinge that will help me get to that thickness, I think.
No. So the bottom line is, the hinge doesn't matter, the casing doesn't matter. So the bottom line is when you tell your prehung supplier, your door supplier, you're going to tell them what threshold you're using, and you're going to want to tell them leave 3/32 of an inch undercut, no more. Or if that's possible, or you're going to tell them to, or you're going to add a threshold stop strip over on top of everything, which will give you more room for your door to butt up against. But the conversation at this point is sending your door guy.
Then we'd have to have a threshold that's more of like an inch high as opposed to a half-inch high to get the door to really seal.
And it all depends on the missing dimension. What's the undercut? If the door's not been manufactured, then you can tell them what you want it to be.
The door was manufactured. They just they haven't put the jambs in. So, we might have to and the guys are going to cut the jambs to the right height. So we could tell them, if we're too high, in other words, and the door's got a lot of undercut, then we could probably get the jamb down and then, hang the door so that it's in the right space.
Yeah, but of course, then you've got an issue. If you're going to cut a half an inch off, now you've got a half inch on top of the header.
Right.
But yeah, that's a fill-in insulate sort of situation. So the 6 or the 7 would be better options, obviously. Is it too little gap? It's not. Your undercut has to be exactly correct for the application.
So maybe I got to talk to my door installer and see if and see what the story is. Okay.
No,
all right. So
you're just going to tell them I'm putting in a 1/4 inch threshold, so I'm going to need that undercut to be no more than 3/8. And then send them a cut sheet and say this is what I'm putting in after the fact.
Right.
It'll work out.
I hope so. This guy's from the Ukraine. He's not. We're working with 2 different languages. He's just the installer of these doors that come from the Ukraine that are all the jambs and the casings all match and everything. So they're kind of like not a totally pre-hung situation. It's like a semi pre-hung.
Right. My experience with those folks is that they are extremely intelligent.
No, these guys know what they're doing. I can't even begin to tell you how well they've done this. It's just that we've had this hard time with this one particular threshold problem, and we just don't know. He's just like, he showed us the threshold that the door supplier gave us, and there's no way we're putting that in because these are very soft doors. There's like a Wenge wood, and every time it would rub up against the bottom of that sort of rounded threshold, it was gonna rub off the finish of these doors. So he's like, you can't do this. He's like, this is definitely wrong. You've got to have a locking or a latching threshold so that it seals the door. Right now, you're just trying to put the door onto a rubber gasket that smashes it down and seals it from the bottom, but you don't have anything that's pushing against the front side of it, or the back side, I should say.
You need to have a seal.
It's got to have a seal, exactly. So, this isn't like an interior threshold. That's what they gave us, was a threshold that's interior only. They didn't understand it's got to be a commercial application. All right, let me call you back after I talk to my door guy and show him these cut sheets. He's gonna have to understand. I hope he's gonna understand like what we're gonna, if we buy this, how he's gonna have to hang that door and work with the jambs. But I hear what you're saying. We basically need it's a 1/4 inch threshold and it needs a 3/8. You said undercut.
Maximum.
Okay, 3/8 max undercut. Got it. Okay. I'll
My
give
name
you
is
a buzz.
Richard. Thank you, sir.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Architectural Builders Supply hopes you have enjoyed this program. Again, thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up, please subscribe, and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.